What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Keto Rewind. I am Jess. Thanks for clicking on today's video. I have a delicious recipe for you today. Now, it's almost fall. It's September 20th today. So for me, we're in fall. We're knee deep into fall. So I was wanting a particular recipe. So I searched through the internet and to find one that's different than the ones I've normally been making. I was looking for a keto pumpkin bread. Now, if you think cottage cheese was just gonna like fade into the background and let pumpkin take front and center, you're crazy, because cottage cheese is still having its moment. It's not going anywhere anytime soon. So I was like, what if there's a cottage cheese pumpkin bread, or a recipe that's a keto pumpkin bread, but has a special ingredient like cottage cheese, you know? Because I'm wanting to bump up my protein levels anytime I get. And I also love pumpkin. So, I mean, I got the pumpkin candle on the wax burner thing over there burning. I mean, it's fall here and I want some keto pumpkin bread. So today's recipe is just that. This recipe is not mine. I did make a couple of changes, but I will link the original recipe down below. It's joyfilled-eats.com. I believe that's what it is. I will add what I did for my changes, but search around, find something that you like. Maybe you don't like cottage cheese and maybe you want more, you know, a different ingredient in there. So just take a peek and see what's out there, you know. I have a tried and true, like low carb pumpkin bread, but I wanted something different, you know, so it's always good to try new things. So before I jump into making my keto pumpkin bread, I have to get my workout in. So I've got my shirt on, it is nice out. So earlier today, I got my reading done on my Kindle. I have a really good book right now, and it's one of those ones that's just one of those guilty pleasures that I just love reading, and I love that I've finally made that effort to start reading again, because it is so much more fun than watching the news or watching some unrealistic thing on social media. So put all that away and start reading again. Go for that walk. Get away from all the stuff that just can cause stress in your life. You have enough stress in your life without turning on the TV. You know, so like, why add more to it? You know, let's do something that feels good, that you can clear your head and go about your day in a happy mood, because the moods will all directly impact your eating if you are an emotional eater like me. I am speaking on experience here. So anyways, but before I jump into all that, I do need to get my workout in. It's another one of my guilty pleasures lately that really does make me feel good. So I am going to head out to the garage, but I'm gonna make my water. For this portion of the video, I wanna thank the sponsor of today's video, Element Electrolytes. So I'm gonna go out into the garage and I'm going to work out. It's not super hot out, but I am fasting until around lunchtime. So I've been using a lot of the electrolytes to help bridge those gaps between meals. Gives me that energy I need to go throughout my workout, and it helps me get my water in. Speaking of water, yes, I love this thing. So, oh my goodness, what a mess. Let me clean that up. See if I can do this with one hand here. Okay, so now that we're all filled up, I'm gonna add just one package of these delicious electrolytes. I love these because each packet contains a science-backed ratio of electrolytes, where you're getting 1,000 milligrams of sodium, 200 milligrams of potassium, and 60 milligrams of magnesium. And they taste delicious, they're sugar-free, they dissolve super easy, just like this. They are gluten-free, sugar-free, no artificial flavors, no fillers, no colors, just a delicious tasting electrolyte. Clearly, watermelon is my favorite, but don't take my word for it. You can get this free sample pack with any order, and you can try all the flavors for yourself. So use this link down below. Use it as many times as you want. It's only available through me, but get your free sample pack at drinkelement.com/keto rewind. That's DRINKLMNT.com/keto rewind. Thanks, Element, for sponsoring this video. Now it's time for me to get my butt outside and get my workout in. I will see you back when it's time for pumpkin bread. Okay, so let's mix up the wet ingredients first. I will need 2 eggs. Just gonna break those up real quick. Again, the recipe link will be down below, and I'll put my changes in the comment box down below. So at this point, we have our 2 eggs. I'm gonna put my bowl on a scale, and we're gonna do 220 grams or a cup of pumpkin puree. You do not want pumpkin pie. You want the pumpkin that's 100% just pumpkin, because that pumpkin pie one is sweetened. So you definitely don't want that. In fact, let me show you here's my bottle, or my can, just pumpkin. So, just a little bit more. And 220, perfect. All right, now I'm gonna save the rest of this, put it back in the fridge for the next one. All right, so the next step we're gonna do is we're gonna get our cottage cheese. Now, my cottage cheese has already been pureed. I use a immersion blender and just do the whole tub at once, so it's all done. So it looks like this. I don't know if the camera will focus. So this way, when it's time to make recipes, I don't have to take that step. So just stick your immersion blender right in there, or stick it in a food processor or a blender, something like that, and scoop that in here. So you got your cottage cheese nice and smooth, and plop it in there. All right, and put that back in the fridge. We don't need the scale anymore. And I'm gonna get some vanilla. I'll be right back. Okay, so now we need a teaspoon of vanilla. And I believe our last ingredient is, the original recipe called for molasses, but I'm gonna use sugar-free maple syrup instead. Or you can completely leave it out, but this will just give it that little bit of a fall flavor. Maple and pumpkin go together nicely. All right, so I'm gonna double check I have all my wet ingredients, and then we're gonna give this a mix. And a good thing I checked, I forgot my butter. Pour that on in there. And give this all a mix. And we're gonna set this aside while we just get all of our dry ingredients assembled next. This doesn't, you can use a KitchenAid stand mixer, but it's so simple that I don't want to do the dishes, and it takes a little bit, and it'll burn some calories if I do it by hand, so. There is the wet ingredients. We're gonna set that aside, and we'll get another bowl out, and we'll add the wet. We're gonna add the dry. So the first ingredient is we need a cup of almond flour. All right, add that to our bowl. And then we're gonna need a half cup of coconut flour. There we go. And then we're gonna need something to sweeten it up. So that would be my Bocha sweetener. Use your favorite keto approved sugar-free sweetener. This is just what I'm gonna do. And then we're gonna need our cinnamon. So we need 2 teaspoons of that. Here we go. 1, I like lots of cinnamon, so I'm kind of doing more of a heaping teaspoon. I love, 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 love cinnamon. All right, and then we're gonna need pumpkin pie spice. Ooh, get that little shaker guy on there. There we go. Smells so good. I mean, granted, I am burning a pumpkin candle, but it's still, I can smell this really, really good. And then we're gonna use baking powder. So we get a tablespoon of baking powder. Plop that down in there. And the last ingredient is gonna be xanthan gum. Her recipe does not call for xanthan gum, but it was so crumbly that I feel like this recipe was really needing xanthan gum. So yes, you can make it without it. It's just a lot crumblier. So I'm putting xanthan gum in mine. But you know, at the end of the day, you do you. And next I'm gonna get my little sifter and sift this into our pumpkin batter. And while I'm at it, I'm going to preheat my oven at 350 degrees. Now, I'm just gonna do this. And get that all in there. I'm laughing hysterically because I remember why I don't sift. Look at the freaking mess it makes. No, thank you. So let me just clean that up real quick. Okay, let's give this a mix. And just like that, we just about got pumpkin bread, right? So now that's what the batter looks like. Let's get out a loaf pan. Even though I put parchment paper in here, I'm still gonna give it a quick zap so it comes out. We don't want it sticking. The directions on the original recipe suggested pecans. I'm just feeling chocolate chip. So I'm just gonna use these chocolate chips instead of in place of the pecans. And plop those in there. Make sure your chocolate chips are sugar-free. And I'm just gonna fold those in real quick before I put everything in the loaf pan. Because I don't know about you, but pumpkin and chocolate is also freaking good. You want all of it, all of that good stuff. Press it down, but don't smush it too hard. You don't want to like make it flat as a pancake, but you want it pretty even in your pan, if that makes sense. Okay, so that's what we have. Next, let's put it in the oven for 50 to 55 minutes, and I'll meet you back when it's time. So I just heard the keto pumpkin bread beep in the oven, so let's go check it out. Now remember, this one is made with almond flour and cottage cheese, so let's take a look. Woo-wee. Ooh boy, let's bring it over here. So one of the first rules when you're dealing with anything that doesn't have gluten or it's a keto baked good is don't touch it. Most of the keto recipes that are nice and clean don't have the wheat gluten, which holds bread and muffins and cakes and all that stuff and cookies, all of that together. So the first rule with any of the keto or low carb baked goods is don't touch it. Let it cool. So right now, let me see if I can pull this out of here, just like that. The first rule is let it cool down. So I just took that out of the pan and we're just gonna let this sit here and cool off for about 20 minutes before we cut into it. This way it'll stay together. Not that it's gonna taste bad if it crumbles and stuff like that, but if you want it to, you know, be pleasing on the eyes, just give it a little bit to cool and set up and kind of do what's best to hold together before you slice all into it. If you don't care about all that, just slice it right in now and go for it. But I'm gonna give it 20 minutes. I'll be back in a few. Alrighty, so the recipe claims you can get 12 servings out of this pumpkin bread. We'll see, the jury will be out on that. But I will go ahead and try to get the 12. Let me put my camera down and see what we can get. Okay, so I was able to get 12 pieces out, or servings out of this pumpkin bread. So we'll just take the one here on the end. Oop, see, it's still falling apart a little bit, but let's go over to the light and take a look. All right, and there, if I get the camera to focus, you have it. Delicious, easy keto pumpkin bread. Take a bite. Very yummy. All right, recipe link down below. And don't forget, order your free sample pack with any purchase of the Element electrolytes using my special link. See you at the next one. Bye.